Devils believe and tremble. Have you heard this? I've heard this plenty of times from people. They say, well, I know you need to believe in Jesus, but devils believe in him as well. Well, I want to take a look at what devils actually believe and what they actually do not believe. Okay? James chapter 2. James was rebuking the Jews, the new believers, when they were despising the poor and giving favoritism to the rich. And he was all over them. He really was. He was rebuking them and he was preaching against them, telling them. And at one point he mentions to him, he says to them, "Thou believest that there is one God, thou dost well. The devils also believe and tremble." That's what he mentions. He says, oh, you believe that there's one God? Good for you. The devils also believe and they tremble. In Luke chapter 8, we're going to find out what else these demons believe. Jesus with his disciples on a small boat, and they were about to going to land. And let's see, he runs into this demon-possessed person. And I want to read on that. And they arrived at the country of the Gadarenes, which is over against Galilee. And when he went forth to land, there met him out of the city a certain man, which had devils long time, and wore no clothes, neither abode in any house, but in the tombs. When he saw Jesus, he cried out and fell down before him. Imagine that. These demons even will worship him. Imagine that. And with a loud voice said, "What have I to do with thee, Jesus, the Son of God Most High?" So they recognize Jesus, and they recognize him as the Son of God, Son of the Most High. So they believe that who Jesus is, he is the Son of the Most High God. They believe that. That's what it says here. Okay? And then he tells them, "I beseech thee, torment me not." Okay? Now let's take a look at how about Satan. We know that these are the demons here. Matthew chapter 4, the tempter, Satan. Then was Jesus led up of the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterwards an hungered. And when the tempter came to him, this is Satan, he said, "If thou be the Son of God," he knows he's the Son of God. He says, "If thou be the Son of God, command that these stones be made bread." So he wanted Jesus to doubt. That's what he wanted him to do. Just the same way we have a lot of preachers today that like to push people into doubting their salvation, having them believe that they could lose their salvation. It's ridiculous. But anyway, we notice here that demons believe in one God and they tremble. Demons also believe that Jesus is the Son of God. They recognize him. The tempter, Satan, obviously believes the same thing. Okay? Now I want to show you what they do not believe in. The righteousness of God. This is one thing that the demons and the tempter, Satan, do not believe in. They really don't. Let's find out what is the righteousness of God. Verse 25. Whom God has set forth to be a propitiation through faith in his blood. Whose blood? The blood of Christ. You see, God wouldn't be righteous if he was just to forgive man. God had to send Jesus to redeem us. To declare his righteousness for the remission of sins. Whose righteousness? Christ's righteousness. Okay? That are passed through the forbearance of God. To declare, I say at this time, his righteousness, that he might be just and the justifier of him which believeth in Jesus. You see, the blood of Christ is what justifies us. It doesn't only justify us, it also declares God's righteousness for the remission of sins. You see, the righteousness of God is actually the manifestation of Jesus Christ upon the believer. See, Jesus is our righteousness. Jesus is our justifier. He is our justification. He really is. For he, look at in 2 Corinthians chapter 5, for he, who's he? God, hath made him, who's him? Jesus, to be sin for us. Wow. Who knew no sin. Jesus didn't know any sin. He never sinned. That we might be made, that we might be made what? The righteousness of God in him. There you have it. Is this our righteousness? No. His righteousness. People don't like to hear that. They believe that they're righteous because of what they do. But no, Satan does not believe this, as we're going to find out. Demons do not believe this, as we're going to find out. The gospel of our salvation is one thing that they cannot believe in. They do not. John chapter 13, verse 21 through 27. Satan enters Judas. Let's look at this. Jesus is with his disciples. When Jesus had thus said, he was troubled in spirit, and testified and said, Verily, verily, I say unto you, that one of you shall betray me. Then the disciples looked one on another, doubting of whom he spake. Now there was leaning on Jesus' bosom one of his disciples, whom Jesus loved, Simon Peter. Therefore beckoned to him that he should ask who it should be of whom he spake. They want to know, who's going to be? Who is it? He then, lying on Jesus' breast, said unto him, Lord, who is it? Jesus answered, He it is to whom I shall give sup, whom when I have dipped it, and when he had dipped the sup, he gave it to Judas Iscariot, the son of Simon. And after the sup, Satan entered into him. Look at that. Satan entered into Judas. Then said Jesus unto him, that thou dost do quickly. See, when Satan entered Judas, Jesus says, hey, you got something to do it quickly. Look at that. Now, I tell you, if Satan knew the righteousness of God, if he believed in that, if he knew what was going to take place at the cross, do you think he would have allowed Judas to betray Jesus? Heck no. He and every demon of his would have made it a point, their mission, to not let Jesus go to that cross. That's what they would have done. They don't believe in the righteousness of God. They don't believe that God justifies man. They don't believe that. They do not. Remember, Satan is the accuser of the brethren, and he will do that even after the cross. Take a look at Revelation chapter 12. Verse 10. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, Now is come salvation, and strength, and the kingdom of our God, and the power of his Christ. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. Still accusing after the cross. He is the accuser of the brethren. He still doesn't believe that Jesus is our righteousness. Jesus is our justification. It was because of his blood. He doesn't believe in the gospel of our salvation. Amen. Blessed be the name of the Lord.